The battlefield was chaos. SEAL team trapped, extraction route blocked. Over the radio screams echoed, "We can't get through." Then a whisper cut through the static. "I see you above." An Apache dove down like lightning. A small woman sat in the cockpit, M230 cannon spinning to life in the sky. She was thunder on the ground. She was survival. Before the gunfire echoed across the sky, Reina Vasquez was just another forgotten name at forward operating Base Bravo 9. Reina Vasquez, 28 years old, Apache helicopter pilot, call sign Silent Hawk. She was small sun, weathered brown hair pulled tight under her flight cap. Day after day, she quietly inspected engines in the maintenance bay. Despite being a staff sergeant aircraft engineer, nobody paid attention to Reina, the girl who sat buried in the rotor repair shop mumbling ancient aerodynamic equations to herself. Other pilots called her Ghost Tech, not because it sounded cool, but because she seemed invisible. The base cafeteria conversations never included her mission briefings, overlooked her raised hand. Even supply runs happened without her knowledge. She existed in the shadows of a world that forgot she was there. One day, the Apache squad commander was critically injured during a training exercise. Shrapnel from a malfunctioning simulator pierced his shoulder. Blood everywhere. Emergency medics rushing. Chaos in the flight operations center. Reina volunteered to replace him. She stepped forward, clipboard in hand, maintenance grease still under her fingernails. Everyone burst out laughing. "You don't even have level 1 combat flight records. Just stick to cleaning rotor blades." The laughter echoed off the metal walls. Humiliation burned her cheeks. But she didn't back down. Even SEAL Team Bravo 6, the legendary Special Operations Unit stationed at the same base, had never said a single word to her. They walked past her workstation daily. Not a nod, not a glance. She was furniture to them, but nobody knew. Every night, Reina still quietly practiced combat flight simulations on the old system in the warehouse. Hour after hour, mission after mission, her fingers danced across worn controls. She didn't do it for rank, she didn't do it for recognition. She did it because she'd watched teammates die from lack of proper support when it mattered most. During one routine check, Lieutenant Colonel Henry caught Reina running combat simulations. "You know this exercise is only for strategic level pilots." Reina looked straight ahead. "I can't afford to fail again." Henry said nothing, but his next report included independent deployment capability sufficient. That evening, forward operating base Bravo 9 received word through encrypted channels. SEAL Team Bravo 6 was ordered to conduct alpha-level target extraction from the Badu Hills, a place considered a death trap. The mission briefing was classified high-value target. Enemy intelligence suggested heavy resistance, multiple escape routes, compromised weather conditions, deteriorating rapidly. Intel reports painted a grim picture. 3 hostile camps surrounding the target zone. Surface to air missiles confirmed. Local militia reinforcements moving in. The window was closing fast. The mission was simple in theory: infiltrate under cover of darkness, recover the asset, extract by helicopter in 8 minutes maximum. But theory rarely survived contact with enemy fire. But everyone knew Bada Hills was where no one could control the sky. 3 previous missions had failed. Their 2 helicopters lost 7. Kia, the terrain was unforgiving. Narrow valleys, dense jungle canopy, perfect for ambushes. Command had labeled it acceptable losses. Territory translation: go in expecting casualties. Reina heard fragments of conversation in the quarter snippets of intel. Target designation Phoenix. High priority extraction. Command was nervous. Even the veteran operators looked tense. She studied the mission parameters on her maintenance terminal. Flight paths looked wrong. No contingency routes, insufficient backup plans. This felt like a suicide mission disguised as strategy. She approached the flight operations desk. "I volunteer to fly support." The duty officer didn't even look up from his paperwork. "Request denied, sir. I have extensive simulation hours on close air support scenarios." Nobody's handing an Apache to an oil wiping engineer. The dismissal was swift, final, humiliating. Other personnel nearby smirked. She stayed silent, but something gnawed at her. The mission felt wrong, too rushed, too dangerous. Not enough air support. Allocated command was sending good soldiers to die. Hours passed. She couldn't sleep, couldn't focus on maintenance. Report something was happening out there. At 2 a.m., an unusual sound cut through Reina's restless sleep, a subsidiary signal from the internal frequency band. Emergency protocols activated. Red level alerts cascading through the system. Her training kicked in. Emergency signals meant lives at stake. No one should have access to this frequency except the top secret emergency response team. But her maintenance clearance included monitoring system anomalies, a technical loophole she discovered years ago. She traced the signal data fragments appeared on her terminal alpha extraction, failed 5-6 units, trapped enemy density, red zone immediate support, required her worst fears, confirmed the mission, had gone sideways, real soldiers were dying, while she sat safe in the maintenance bay. Her chest tightened. The worst case scenario was unfolding real time, and she was the only one seeing it. She rushed to the simulation room, hands shaking, as she called over the encrypted channel. Base operations, I request verification of SEAL Bravo 6 field situation static. Then silence, the kind of silence that meant people were deciding what to tell her. Finally, ma'am, a cold mechanical voice, you don't have clearance to ask those questions. 5 American soldiers are potentially end transmission. Immediately the line went dead, but she'd heard something in that voice, fear, panic, barely controlled, but in the radar data streaming across her screen, she saw the horrifying truth. No Apaches flying, no air support whatsoever, no rescue operation in progress. Command had written them off. 5 elite soldiers abandoned because the risk assessment didn't favor a rescue attempt. Standard military calculus, acceptable losses. Reina knew if nobody came, Bravo 6 would be wiped out. 5 elite soldiers would die because of bureaucracy and risk assessment. 5 families would get folded flags instead of living heroes. She walked into the hangar. Emergency lighting cast long shadows between the aircraft. Her footsteps echoed on concrete. Each step felt like a decision. She stopped at Apache serial number RZ-047. The Iron Bird had been decommissioned due to control system failures, hydraulic problems, avionics glitches, too dangerous for standard operations. But she was the only one who knew how to manually start at hours of unauthorized maintenance, had taught her every wire, every circuit, every bypass protocol. She'd rebuilt this machine from spare parts and determination. Her hands moved across the control panel. Switches, flip systems came online, the familiar hum of power coursing through the aircraft on the dusty windscreen. She wrote 6 words with her finger: if I fail, I die alone. The rotors began to spin. 239 Bata Hills battlefield. SEAL Bravo 6 was surrounded on 3 sides. Enemy forces outnumbered them 6-1. Bullets rained down like a storm from elevated positions. Muzzle flashes lit up the jungle like deadly fireflies. Staff Sergeant Martinez pressed against a fallen log, blood seeping through his tactical vest. We're running low on ammo. Corporal Johnson returned fire from behind a boulder. Where the hell is our extraction? Radio chatter was desperate. Chaos base. This is Bravo 6. We're pinned down. Extraction route compromised. Need support immediately. The response was static. Then a voice from thousands of miles away: no helicopters available. Handle it yourselves. Team leader Commander Brooks slammed his fist against the radio. We're abandoned. Then all frequencies went silent. Even the background hum of communications died. But at that exact moment, a whisper cold as steel cut through the static. See, the voice was unfamiliar, female, calm in a way that defied the chaos below. Against the black sky, a bright slice through the cloud layer. No running lights, no identification signals. Just raw predatory movement. Apache RZ-047 dove down like a ghost in the pilot's seat. Reina Vasquez, the M230 chain gun, began spinning, a sound like mechanical death warming up. She didn't fly by the book. She flew like someone who had stared death in the face and learned its secrets. Reina broke through at 0 altitude, flying ground level between trees, rotors inches from branches, rotating the aircraft 180 degrees in impossible maneuvers, taking out the machine gun nest on the eastern ridge. Cannon fire erupted like lightning. Tracer rounds carved geometric patterns through the darkness. Enemy positions exploded in sequence. The hostile forces panicked. They never expected who would dare drive an Apache straight into such a confined battlefield. The noise alone was psychological warfare. A SEAL's voice crackled over comms, breathless with disbelief. Unknown aircraft. Identify yourself. Doesn't matter who I am. I'm asking again. Who are you? Her voice carried weight. Pain history. I used to be someone who didn't arrive in time on a private channel. An aged voice broke through. Lieutenant Colonel Henry, monitoring from the hospital. Dear God, is that her? His voice trembled with recognition and memory. Reina Vasquez, former Ghost Unit Phoenix 7, the one who single-handedly rescued 31 hostages from Syrian Compound 3 years behind enemy lines, presumed dead. Twice she disappeared from active duty 6 years ago, after Kandahar. The name sent chills through anyone with clearance to know at Kandahar the mission that broke her the mission, where she arrived 30 seconds too late to save her entire squad at Bada Hills. Reyna flew the final circle, her Apache dance, between rockets and machine gun fire. She dropped smoke signals to mark the extraction route. Team Bravo 6. You have a quarter 200 meters. Northeast, move now. The SEAL team sprang into action, racing through the bloody pathway Reyna had carved with cannon fire and precision strikes. Enemy RPG teams adjusted their aim. A rocket streak toward the Apache's tail rotor. Reyna saw it coming. Time slowed. She banked hard, left negative G-forces, crushing her into the seat. The rocket missed by inches. The explosion lit up her cockpit. Shrapnel peppered the fuselage. Warning lights blazed across her instrument panel. Hydraulic failure. Engine temperature critical. Fuel leak detected. But the Apache kept flying, still fighting, still protecting the 5 lives below. Another rocket. This one found its mark. The explosion rocked the aircraft. Smoke poured from the engine compartment. The smell of burning fuel filled the cockpit. Reyna fought the controls as the Apache spun toward the ground. She had maybe 60 seconds before complete system failure. Bravo 6, are you clear? Affirmative. All units accounted for. She smiled through gritted teeth. Mission accomplished. The Apache hit the tree line hard. Metal screamed against branches. The world went black, but 5 American soldiers were going home when SEAL Team Bravo 6 was safely extracted by backup helicopters. Everyone searched for Reyna. Search and rescue teams combed the crash site for hours. They found her 2 miles away, sitting against a tree, beaten, bloodied, but alive. She had crawled from a wreckage, self-treated her wounds with a basic field kit, and waited quietly for dawn. Medical teams rushed her to the field hospital. Concussion, broken ribs, second-degree burns on her arms. But she refused evacuation to Germany. I need to get back to maintenance duty. When the base commander tried to present her with a silver star, she politely declined. I don't deserve recognition for doing what should have been done. No medals accepted, no media interviews, no ceremony. The next morning, a handwritten note appeared on the commander's desk. If tomorrow I'm back to being an engineer cleaning rotor blades, I'll still make the same choice. Some things matter more than protocol. But the SEAL team couldn't stay silent. Staff Sergeant Martinez visited her in the maintenance bay. He placed a small American flag patch on her workbench. From all of us, we don't forget. Word spread first through the base, then through military networks, finally to the outside world. A security camera clip surfaced grainy footage of the Apache diving through enemy fire cannon, blazing, saving lives against impossible odds. Military analysts couldn't believe the footage. Those maneuvers are beyond textbook. This pilot redefined close air support. The internet tracked down her identity. Reyna Vasquez, ghost unit veteran, the woman who saved 31 lives in Syria before disappearing. Social media exploded. The hashtag #Thunder Angel spread across military forums, veteran groups, and mainstream platforms. The Department of Defense was forced to acknowledge her actions. Staff Sergeant Reyna Vasquez conducted unauthorized but heroic air support operations, resulting in the successful extraction of 5 special operations personnel across military bases worldwide. Her photograph appeared in ready rooms and operation centers. Don't wait for orders when you can save lives. Fly. Young pilots studied her techniques. Flight schools analyzed her tactics. Her story became legend. But Reyna remained in the maintenance base, still fixing engines, still running night simulations, still preparing for the next time someone needed help. Because heroes don't seek glory, they just show up when it matters most in life. Not everyone gets recognized at the right time. Reyna Vasquez represents those who are overlooked, pushed aside. But in the decisive moment, they become the ones who change everything. She didn't need titles or recognition. She needed lives to be saved. True courage doesn't lie in rank or official authorization. It lies in the decision to act when no one gives the order. If she had followed protocol, that night 5 elite soldiers would have died in a foreign jungle. 5 families would have received folded flags instead of homecoming embraces. But she didn't follow protocol, she followed her conscience. The difference between a hero and a bystander isn't training or equipment, it's the willingness to act when action is needed most. They live now because of someone whose name was forgotten until the moment it mattered. Her story reminds us the most important battles are often fought by people no one notices. If you believe this story deserves to be shared, subscribe to S and the Ordinary Heroes, where every video honors those who silently change the world. You don't watch just to be moved, you watch so you never forget the power of one person who chooses to act.